Single dad fixes billionaire's disabled daughter. What happened next left her mom in tears. The night the billionaire watched her disabled daughter move for the first time in years, it wasn't a famous doctor or a high-priced specialist standing beside her. It was a tired single father with grease-stained hands, worn shoes, and eyes that carried a lifetime of quiet pain. In that moment, as the little girl's fingers trembled and responded, the mother felt her knees weaken and her world split open with hope she had buried long ago. If you believe stories like this deserve to be heard, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and miracles that come from the most unexpected people, please take a moment right now to like this video, comment, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive. The man's name was Daniel Reed, and life had never been gentle with him. He was 38, a single father raising his 8-year-old son after losing his wife to illness years earlier. Every morning before sunrise, he packed his son's school lunch, tied his shoes, and walked him to the bus stop before heading to work at a small electronics repair shop on the edge of the city. Daniel wasn't formally educated beyond community college, but he had something rare, an instinctive understanding of how things worked. Broken radios, damaged circuit boards, malfunctioning machines, even old medical equipment people had written off as useless somehow made sense to him. Fixing things was the only place his mind felt calm, the only time grief loosened its grip. Across the city, in a glass mansion overlooking manicured gardens, lived Evelyn Hart, a billionaire tech entrepreneur whose name appeared regularly in business magazines. To the world, she was powerful, fearless, and unstoppable. But inside her home, she was just a mother unraveling quietly. Her daughter, Lily, had been disabled since a tragic accident 5 years earlier. A fall, a damaged spine, a brain injury that left her unable to walk or use her hands properly. Specialists from around the world had tried to help. Money had opened every door, yet none of them had given Evelyn what she wanted most: to see her daughter move freely again, to see her smile without pain, to hear her laugh without frustration. Lily spent her days surrounded by advanced medical devices, robotic supports, and therapy machines worth more than most people's homes. Some helped a little. Most just reminded Evelyn of how far her daughter still had to go. Over time, hope became heavier than despair. It sat in her chest like a stone, too painful to throw away, too heavy to carry. One afternoon, one of the rehabilitation machines malfunctioned. It was an advanced motor assist device designed to stimulate nerve responses in Lily's arms. The company that built it quoted an outrageous repair cost and a 3-month wait. Evelyn agreed without hesitation, but Lily's condition worsened as days passed without therapy. Frustrated and desperate, Evelyn allowed her assistant to search for independent technicians who might at least examine it. That search led to Daniel. When he arrived at the mansion, he felt painfully out of place. The gates, the silence, the luxury, it all reminded him of a world he never belonged to. He nearly turned back, convinced he was wasting their time. But when he saw Lily lying quietly, her eyes following every movement with a mix of curiosity and sadness, something inside him settled. He didn't see a billionaire's daughter. He saw a child waiting to be helped. Daniel examined the machine slowly, carefully, like a man listening to a heartbeat. He realized the issue wasn't the main system but a small internal control board that had been poorly designed. The machine wasn't responding accurately to Lily's nerve signals, it was overwhelming them. Most technicians would have replaced the entire unit. Daniel thought differently. He stayed late into the night, soldering, recalibrating, adjusting micro-responses by hand. No one asked him to stay. He just did. Evelyn watched from a distance, skeptical at first, then curious, then quietly hopeful. She noticed how Daniel sometimes glanced at Lily, explaining his actions in simple gestures even though Lily couldn't speak clearly. There was no pity in his eyes, only focus and respect. That alone stirred something Evelyn hadn't felt in years. When the machine was finally ready, Daniel hesitated. He warned that the changes were experimental, untested in clinical settings. He didn't promise miracles. He simply said it might help the machine listen better to Lily's body. They turned it on. At first, nothing happened. Evelyn's heart sank, that familiar disappointment rushing back. But then Lily's fingers twitched. Just barely, almost imperceptibly. Daniel adjusted a setting, his hands steady despite his racing heart. A moment later, Lily's hand responded again, this time more clearly. Her eyes widened. A small sound escaped her throat, something between surprise and joy. Evelyn felt tears rise instantly, but she didn't move. She was afraid to breathe, afraid to scare the moment away. Lily's arm lifted slightly with the machine's guidance, smoother than it had ever been. It wasn't walking. It wasn't a cure. But it was progress, real, undeniable progress. For the first time in years, Evelyn cried openly. Over the next weeks, Daniel returned daily. He refused extra payment, asking only to be compensated for parts and time. He adjusted the machine constantly, responding to Lily's improvements and setbacks. Slowly, Lily gained better control of her hands. She could hold small objects. She could press buttons. She could feed herself with assistance. Each small victory felt monumental. Daniel's own struggles didn't disappear. He still worried about rent, about his son's school fees, about the exhaustion that followed him everywhere. But something changed inside him too. Watching Lily fight through pain with determination reminded him why he had kept going all these years. Why he had survived his own losses. Evelyn began to learn about Daniel's life without him ever asking for sympathy. She learned he had once dreamed of becoming an engineer, that he had given it up to care for his dying wife, that he now poured his intelligence into fixing things for people who rarely noticed. The contrast between his quiet sacrifice and her loud success haunted her. One evening, Lily managed to move her arm without the machine's assistance for a few seconds. It was unsteady and weak, but it was hers. Evelyn collapsed into a chair, overwhelmed. She covered her face, shaking, not from sadness but from a gratitude so intense it hurt. Daniel stood there silently, unsure what to do, until Lily reached out and touched his sleeve with trembling fingers. That small gesture shattered the last wall around Evelyn's heart. From that day on, everything changed. Evelyn didn't just see Daniel as a repairman anymore. She saw him as someone who had given her daughter something no amount of money had been able to buy, hope rooted in understanding, patience, and care. She funded further development of Daniel's modifications, bringing in ethical medical experts to study them. But she made sure Daniel was credited, protected, and supported. Not as a charity case, but as a partner. Months later, Lily could sit upright on her own. She could play simple games with Daniel's son when he visited. Two children from completely different worlds laughing together in a room that once echoed with. Silence became Evelyn's most treasured sight. Daniel's life transformed gradually. He received opportunities to study, to innovate, to build devices that focused on accessibility rather than profit. But he never lost his humility. He still fixed things with the same care, still showed up for his son every morning, still believed that small actions mattered. And Evelyn, the billionaire who had once measured success in numbers and headlines, found herself measuring it in moments. Her daughter's smile, her progress, the quiet evenings filled with cautious hope instead of despair. Just before the ending of this story, take a moment to comment below and tell us where you're watching from, or simply write, "Hope," if this story made you feel something deep inside. Near the end of Lily's first year of real recovery, Evelyn stood watching her daughter practice movement exercises, guided by devices Daniel had helped perfect. Tears filled her eyes again, but this time they weren't from pain. They were from gratitude, from the realization that sometimes the people who fix our broken world are the ones who have been broken themselves. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that kindness can change lives and that miracles don't always come in white coats or luxury cars, please like this video, share it, and leave a heartfelt comment. Your engagement helps spread these stories of hope to others who need them most.